Here's a real quick message from my friends at Bridgecom Systems. If you're a ham looking to get into DMR, you need to go check out their plug-and-play package, link in the description. It's a handheld DMR radio and digital hotspot combo that comes pre-programmed with all of your information so that all you have to do to get on the air is just turn it on and press the PTT button. You'll also get access to their beginner to expert courses about your DMR gear through Bridgecom University. Give them a call at 816-532-8451 to talk with their dedicated in-house radio advisors. They are happy to help you out. Thank you, Bridgecom, for supporting this channel. And there it is. Okay. all the buttons. Hey, guys, good evening. Ham Radio 2.0 Sunday night live stream. I am back. I am so happy to be here because why is the closed caption on in YouTube all the time now? I don't turn it on. It just turns itself on all the there. So I'm always reading my words on the screen. So thanks for joining us on another Sunday night live stream. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a good Black Friday. Those of you who have reached out to me and wished me to get better, thank you for paying attention to my shopping videos on Friday. So long story short, my wife and I caught something when we were in either on the airplane or in Hawaii. We felt great while we were in Hawaii last weekend. No problems there. Felt great when we got home. We got home early Monday morning, took a red-eye flight Sunday night. Got home Monday morning, felt great Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday night, I started feeling a little bit weird. Wednesday morning, I woke up with a slight sore throat. Not a big deal, but by Wednesday night, I was really feeling like crud. And my wife and I were feeling exactly the same. It was all in our head, all congestion, sinuses, whatnot. No fevers, no aches or anything like that. It was not COVID. My wife went and got tested. Test was negative. So it wasn't anything detrimental. Everybody's, is it COVID? Is it COVID? Is it? No, it's not freaking COVID. You know, the common cold still exists. It's still out there. It's been out there for 150 years. It's not going anywhere. But we were both feeling like crud. We didn't want to spread it to our family, so we went. So we stayed here. We stayed at home all day. Well, Wednesday also. Wednesday is when it started to get bad. But all day Thursday and Friday. I didn't do a live stream on Friday because I just wasn't feeling up to it. So I did another recorded video and put that up. And a lot of you reached out to me saying, "Hey, get better, get better. Sorry you're feeling bad." So thank you for those comments on that. Very good to see. Good to see the audience out there. Good to hear from the Ham fam over the holidays. So hope everyone had a really good Thanksgiving. Mine, it wasn't bad. We got to stay at home. We weren't stuck in Hawaii being sick. That would have sucked. So I'm glad we were home to kind of be around our family and well, not our family, but my mom brought some food over one day, but our dogs was here with us and everything worked out. Pretty much over it now. We went to church this morning. We're both feeling better. So it's all good. But, special thanks to all the folks, all the YouTube channel members in the chat. You can recognize them because they're all the folks in the chat with the green lettering on their names. Andy Callie, Christiana N6KV, Kyle Zeringe. I'm sure I'm saying your name wrong, dude. Sorry about that. Ed Sweeney, Phil W0RHP. Special thanks to all you guys for being in the chat today. Thank you for supporting the channel. Click on the join button underneath the video for more information about YouTube channel membership. So special shout out to those guys today. And yes, K at MRD was at a park today and I worked him on 40 meters. So he started calling, or I got a ham alert. So I'm like, oh, Mike's at a park. Cool. So I walked out here, turned on the flex radio, called back to him. I think he came back to me on my like my second call. He was only like a 5'3", 5'4" to me, but I've only got up a dipole. It's not a very special antenna. And he came back to me. He's like, "You're 5'9" in Alabama." And I'm like, "Oh, you're in Alabama again." Moving on. Okay, so anyway, but thanks for taking the call, Mike. I think he said he worked like 205 stations in 90 minutes, something like that. So very, very, very respectable number of POTA contacts to make out there from Alabama. So I'll get razzed for that later, but I don't care. So, all right. So, one thing something I've started, I'm actually kind of making myself a commercial. I'm going to put it up later. I don't have it up yet. So last year we did this thing with gospel socks. This is an effort through my church where they take new pairs of socks, then donate them to homeless shelters, in the North Texas area, mostly in the Fort Worth area, but all around the North Texas area. So you can go to gospelsocks.com. Frank's going to share that link in the chat here just shortly. But if you go to gospelsocks.com and you scroll down to the bottom, you can find a mailing address. Okay, this is a faith-based Christian organization. You don't have to believe any of that if you don't want to. I go to church. I believe this sort of stuff. You guys can or cannot. But I did this last year, and I mentioned it on a live stream, and I had a lot of people come to me and says, you know what? And several people came and thanked me for mentioning it, and they bought socks and they got them donated. Several people came by and said, you know what? I don't go to church. I don't really believe any of that, but this sounds like a great organization, so I'm going to buy some socks anyway. So it doesn't matter what your background is. This is socks that are being provided to homeless shelters in the North Texas area. You can buy socks online. You can use my Amazon link to get affiliate commissions for the channel, or you can just go to Amazon. You go to Target.com, Walmart.com, whatever. You put this mailing address in here that's at the bottom of this page, the link that Frank's about to share, and just have the socks mailed there. And in the note, put something about ham radio. Doesn't matter what it is. Put ham radio. My ham radio call sign is blah. You know, ham harder. Say referred by ham radio 2.0. Put whatever you want. Whatever you want. Just something about ham radio in the note. We got just over 900 pairs of socks donated last year, and I wasn't even trying. I've just put it out there. You guys really stepped up and made it happen. It was a really cool thing to see. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start this year somewhere around middle of November, which I've been talking about it for a couple weeks. And we're going to see if we can hit the 3,000 pairs of socks mark. So kind of a little goal I set for myself by the end of 2021. So we got about another month on that. So more to come on that later. Going to be talking about that in some live streams. Really cool stuff that they're doing out there. So just a way to give back to the community during this, or my community anyway. There's a lot of North Texas hams here that live in this area as well. But it's just a way to give back to the community in my area, and something that I really believe in. I think you guys really stepped up with last year. So I thought I'd set myself a goal for 3,000 pairs of socks. I have not donated myself yet this year, but I'm going to. Probably going to be on one of these Wednesday live streams that's upcoming. So, but that is gospelsocks.com. So let me go back over here and check out the chat real quick. Get this. Yeah, there's Frank's posting. All right, good deal. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in Frank and Josh. You know, Frank's not really a special guest, but you know, Josh is kind of a special guest for that kind of thing. Let me get my situation over here. There we go. Hey guys, what's going on tonight? How is everybody?
Cheers. How you doing? I'm doing great.
Good.
What is up?
What is up? So yeah, I thought I wanted to bring Josh on because I haven't had him on the channel by himself since you took over Ham Nation. So I want to talk to you some about that and just kind of see what's going on in your world. And oh yeah, Hayden's commenting on my beard.
Yeah.
There
was a couple of comments. Yeah,
oh, was it? Okay. I wasn't watching the chat the whole time during that. So, but I'm probably gonna have to ship. My wife's got her holiday Christmas party for her company next weekend, so I'm probably gonna take this all off before then.
No. Tell her Frank forbids it.
She would have some choice words for you at that point in time.
Why the Christmas party though? Why is that the?
She doesn't really like the beard that much.
You mentioned that.
She is, she's kind of like the opposite of Leia.
Leia.
Yeah. So the princess in your house, but
That's right.
so she's kind of like the opposite of Leia. And I know that Leia is Leia, and I call her Leia except for when I have a camera pointed in my face. For some reason, I call her Leia.
Yeah, everybody messes it up.
Sorry, man. Yeah, but
she's really mad.
I don't care. Yeah. But
Mike got me on camera. I was like, all right, Leia, can you go ahead and throw the big switch and turn on the bands for us? And then Mike looked at me, Leia? I was like, it's Leia. And then I got all self-conscious. I was like, moving on.
Anyway, but it was pretty inspiring to hear that she actually encouraged you to grow a beard.
She did. Well, because if I cut this off, I've got a really young looking face, I guess, from here down. And the idea was that would help me. It would be better for my career, I think, is what she believed. And I can't say she's wrong, but yeah,
that's a logical perspective. I think
scholarly appearing.
Yeah, more scholarly appearing. Yeah. So good deal. Hey, Ham Radio DX, $5 super chat. Keep the beard and grow it out. I want to get it to beer snack length. Yeah. Well, I told my wife that once my hair fell out to a certain point, I was going to shave my whole head, grow a beard, and go work in a craft beer bar somewhere. So that's just kind of like the future that's been written for me already.
I love that.
But
I disagree. So forget your life as saying beards are lazy. To a point, they are.
To a point,
if it's a short beard, it's lazy. You just shampoo up, you're good. But once it gets to a certain length, you're adopting all kinds of like
shampoo,
balms, and special
oils.
things. People comb it out and all that stuff. And I'm not saying it's something they elect to do. You kind of have to.
You kind of have to,
because it's styling at that point, and because otherwise you're going to look like just like exploded out if you don't do something with it.
Well, and those of us who and like I've got gray right here. Okay, if you can see that, I've got gray right here. So I had gray right here in my beard. This was the last when my beard started to grow in when I was in like the 8th grade. Not this full, obviously, but the first parts of it. By like the 9th or 10th grade, the very last parts of it were starting to come in, and that was this part right here, and that was gray when I was in like the 10th and 11th grade. So this part has always been gray. So people say, well, there's gray in your beard. I was like, I had gray in my beard when I was like 16. So I don't really care if there's gray.
Somebody told me I needed to take magnesium. I'll get rid of the gray if you take magnesium. I'm like, what are you selling it? Is this
I haven't heard that
MLM?
Ed says we need the ZZ Top look.
Yeah.
Just keep and let it grow.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. So
that's long. I don't think I can get down with that.
T-Ray at the $20 super chat says, keep it.
All right. Well, these are compelling reasons right here. Every dollar.
Yeah.
Your beard earns money.
Yeah, you turn around to your wife and say, "Honey, what do you want me to do?"
I got $50 saying
the beard is bought and paid for at this point.
Super chats galore. If I have a beard, my goodness, wow. W9HJ says that's not gray. Damn youngins, mine is all white. That's good. Oh, good.
I have more than what I want to admit in my beard.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got a really thin spot here, Frank. Do you shave that part?
No, it's just I think that's a little bit of Irish in me. Nothing grows down here. I have a little bit of goatee, but other than that, nothing.
Okay.
Irish or Amish, either one.
Could be either one, right?
I don't know. The bald spot on the back of my head could be Amish, Irish.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I guess that could be
There's one reason why I don't film myself from behind.
Oh. I don't want to know what that means.
But, the head. Self-conscious.
Okay.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Yeah, moving on. Sheesh. But okay, good. Well, hey, I just wanted to catch up with Josh tonight. This is just kind of a back and forth ad lib. I hope you guys saw his. I know a lot of people were watching his Black Friday live stream last night, and I watched most of it myself. Of course, I put up a bunch of shopping videos this week, like I've done in years past. Also, that's just a really fun thing to do. The first time I did like Black Friday and shopping videos, I didn't think people would care. And every now and then you get the naysayer come by saying, what, I can look all this stuff up myself. Why are you making videos about it? Well, because every time I do, like 4,000 or 5,000 people come by and watch it, and like 150 of them thank me for it. So,
well, I mean, you know just as well as I do, you can't appease everybody all the time, right? And so that's just the reality of it. If you've got if people are watching it and they enjoy it, well, shoot, I mean, why not do it, right? And actually, you do the whole sales videos, right? Like the big sales that are coming up, regardless of the Black Friday. This is just an extension of that. If anything, I'd say this feels more like a regular Friday than a special sales day. This year was also kind of flat, like it was last year.
Right. Yeah. So we were talking before the camera started, and the Black Friday specials. If you go back and watch our any of the Black Friday videos that were on YouTube in like 2019. There were a lot of good sales on like the ICOM 71 and 7300s.
Yeah, and, I played part of my live stream from 2019 on my last night's live stream just to show everybody. It's like, oh no, this was a stupid good deal. $700 for a 7100 2 years ago is like, yo, I'd pay that right now if that was on the table. So it's it's wild how. Let's put COVID on the side for a second, right? If you just talk about shipping issues and everything else that's going on, like how quickly the fire that happened, and I'm not saying that affects the radio, the same radio, but it affected the company, and so the company is less willing to reduce prices to the point that they can have those crazy deals. It's just a wild amount of things that's happened, not just to the world, but to ham radio in the last 2 years or so.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know, this chip shortage, which coincided with COVID, I don't think it necessarily had anything to do with COVID, but it's affected the automotive industry quite heavily as well.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, it's obviously not just ham radio, but it's all electronics.
Right. And put it into perspective too, right? Ham radio companies, we're moving a paltry amount of units, right? Those companies are they make these really complex devices that we all love, but how many of those devices are actually being sold versus a car, a cell phone, a blah, 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 right? So they're getting muscled out with people that are buying in much larger quantities, right? For components. So
exactly,
you know, that's what's going to happen.
Right. Yeah. And I heard I don't know how much accuracy is to what I'm about to say, but I heard through the grapevine that Kenwood, one of the reasons they kind of backed off on their ham radio market is because they have a lot of LMR contracts to fulfill. They're very heavily into LMR. Like I don't think Yaesu's into LMR, but I know ICOM is, but in a different realm kind of thing. But
ICOM definitely is.
ICOM definitely, yeah, but Kenwood is too. They've got a lot of their Next Edge series of P25 and DMR radios. That they had to make a decision, say, we've got a limited number of chips and supplies. We can build LMR equipment or we can build ham radio equipment. And they had contracts for LMR equipment. And I heard, again, that's all just hearsay. I don't know how much truth there is to that.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons you're not seeing a lot coming out of Kenwood right now. But
I've also heard that Kenwood is putting people behind, putting top men behind working on something potentially new and interesting. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know, who knows what that means? That could be years from now, right?
You know, and I think I know what you're talking about, and I've been hearing that for like 3 years. And I hope that it's true.
Right.
So yeah, I hope it's true. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that, I guess. But top men. First one to get the reference of top men in the chat.
Yeah, who's got plus 100 internets, if you know.
Right,
top men.
Plus 100 internets. But
that should be pretty easy.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
Yeah, I do too. So good. All right. Yeah, Ed Sweeney says top men.
And I'm glad you're feeling better, Jason, because I watch your Friday videos for sales, and I can always tell, like, if you're recording it in the morning, those videos, because you got kind of a sleepy voice, you know, a little bit, like it's a little bit, you got a little frog in the front a little bit. You can tell, right?
Yeah.
And the Black Friday videos, I was like, that's that plus a little bit more of like what's going on, and you're sick. So I'm glad you're feeling better, and your wife is feeling better.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that.
Ed Sweeney got it.
Yeah. Raiders of Lost Ark.
Ed Sweeney Raiders.
Yep. That's right. Yep. So that's funny. Yeah. In fact, when I first started the Friday videos, I got this was back when I was working like a 9 to 5, like an 8 to 5 job. So I got up at like 6, and I'm just not a morning person. Never have been. I just got up early, and I was like, okay, guys, today we're going to talk about and people commented on their video. They're like, dude, are you okay? And I'm like, I was just tired, man.
You're doing the ape voice.
Oh yeah.
Well, but straight up, the background music that you run on it actually works really well with that voice.
I think so.
The music tie-in there is really good. I'm just like, so okay, you know, it all works. Because I'm also watching it like Friday morning, so I'm or Saturday or Friday whenever I get to it. But you know, it's like, so it's perfect for me anyway. So you know, it's nicely done, whether you intended it or not. Nicely done.
No, I didn't intend it. No, I didn't know. That was just I was just like, okay, I got to do this in the morning, so I might as well sound like this. But that's just the way it is. So, all right, Steve Mulvey with the $20 NZ, New Zealand. Maybe
sure.
Yeah, New Zealand dollars. Keep the beard. Will there be a Q&A at the end of the live stream? I have a question about DMR contact. Go ahead and ask your question, man.
Kiwi bucks.
We can we can try to filter your question in there. This is a very shoot from the hip live stream. I just wanted to get Josh on here to talk about how his channel's going, Ham Nation, Black Friday, just kind of everything. So we're just kind of like keeping it open tonight. So but I haven't gotten to a chance to talk to you one-on-one, Josh, about Ham Nation. So tell us how that's going.
I think it's going well. I'm more comfortable than I was when I started because so I'll give. I mean, I'll just go for a little bit. If you
go ahead, yeah,
go ahead. Yeah. So Twit as some of you know, the Twit network, during COVID, they saw a marked reduction in their sponsorships. And they are a production house, right? Like Leo Laporte and what they put out, they have a staff and they've got producers and they've got people whose sole job is to produce the shows that go on to Twit. Ham Nation was one of them. And so they had one or two people every episode that was just running the back end of that thing, like boom, boom, boom. And so that the cost just, you know, added up, and Leo basically looked at it and said, hey, look, if I got to cut one of these things, what am I going to cut? And I feel like I don't think Leo did them wrong or anything like that. So nobody take what I'm about to say that way. But he kind of looked at it as like, you know, if I'm looking at my core wheelhouse of what I'm working on, which Leo's the tech guy, 6:40 a.m. You probably have him in syndication in your home state or wherever you're at, where you can listen to him on the radio station. He's very much always been a tech guy, electronics, gadgets, that kind of stuff. And so Ham Nation was kind of just out of the wheelhouse a little bit. And so I think he decided we're gonna let it go. This was also, was it a couple of months before they were gonna hit the 500th episode,
right?
And so through the grapevine, I started hearing about it, and then ultimately Bob Heil got in contact with me and said, would it be possible even for you to do this, and how would you go about it? They use Skype, which some of you probably have picked that up from watching the videos. And so I just kind of wanted to try it. So I put this proof of concept together using OBS software, right? For those of you who don't know, I use OBS. I don't use Streamlabs anymore, everybody, but OBS, I was using Open Broadcast Studio. And I set up just a proof of concept with all the hosts and all that stuff. And we all got on the show, you know, on the OBS on Skype, and we kind of just did a mock episode. And once I got that sorted out and I was able to put all the scenes together and the shots and all that cool stuff, then it kind of was just like, yeah, this is possible. So let's try it. And so then we did the first episode, and, you know, that turned into the next one, and everybody was kind of like, okay, you know, I think we got this. For a lot of the hosts, they like it because before they were using, what is it, a Telecaster? It's a device that
Wirecast.
No, it's a physical box. It's a
okay.
Maybe it is.
Wirecast has a physical box, and I think it's called a Telecaster, but there's some kind of thing that works in conjunction. Yeah. That's what Tom uses. So yeah,
and that's an expensive unit, right? Yeah. And so they do this whole thing where they actually have like separate Skype phone lines. So the hosts were never really in the same room together. I don't know if everybody knew that. Oh, yeah. Like when they threw to Gordo, it was Gordo alone. Like nobody else could hear Gordo. It was just their own thing. And then they pulled other people. So very much like a television show that they were producing. And so when we brought it on to Hammer to Crash Course, it was more of a like, we're all in the same room. We can all kind of just talk together. And so that allowed for more discussion, more conversation. And because we got the live chat with so many people watching, that we started pulling in questions from the audience. And the hosts really like it now. They think that it's more engaging is probably the wrong word, but it's more connected to the community, if you will. Because remember, Ham Nation used to have the IRC chat. And Amanda would pull from the IRC chat at the end of the episode and take questions. And they were all kind of like, let's just kind of get through this. We're wrapping things up. And so we turned it more into a conversation. At least that was the intention. And a lot of it was just the hosts, like, and us and me just talking, you know, like, what do you guys want to do? Where do you want to go with this? So Amanda, TriCaster, Ted W got it. TriCaster. Thank you, TriCaster. So Amanda is actually one of the show wouldn't work without Amanda. She basically puts the show notes together, and those show notes I turn into the OBS scenes, and I literally build the episode out. And so I'm literally going through scenes as like a punch list, and I've got to add the guests that are on and websites and all that stuff. But if it wasn't for Amanda doing that, it would be incredibly difficult to produce the podcast or the show.
Is there a way to separate in OBS your ham radio or that podcast from all your other podcasts? Because, or you just have a giant list of scenes in OBS?
No, actually, good question. There is something in OBS called Scene Collection, and you can have a collection. I have a collection for Twitch. I have a collection for Ham Radio Crash Course, and then I have a collection for Ham Nation. And so I just build that whole thing. And then the best thing you can ever do, by the way, if anybody ever does this, make yourself a scene that is just a bunch of dashes and put nothing on it. And then everything below the dash is not part of the episode. It's a little divider. It's the stupidest little hack that I started using. And so I just drag scenes above the divider that are a part of the episode. And then I drag the scenes out that are not part of the episode. Like, so when Joe is not on, Joe Eisenberg, well, the Joe scene just comes down. And when whomever, when I do Gordo's short shots, boom, they're right up top.
And if you don't mind me getting too technical and in the weeds here,
you ask Jason. I don't know how far he wants me to go with this.
I mean,
Jason.
I'm talking about a live stream now.
Right? Yeah. It's not really a live stream about live streaming. It's a live stream about ham radio. But no, that's fine.
Right.
Go ahead.
I know Jason will yank the cord if we go too deep.
Good.
How because Leah Lepore a long time ago did Stiposaurus. That was 4 machines all hooked together and running 4 different instances of.
That's it. Boy, you know more than I do. Yeah, that's what they call it.
How do you for Ham Nation suck in everyone's window individually without stepping on it?
Yeah. Okay. So great question. So shout out to Loyal. I don't know if Loyal's watching, one of the admins from the HRCC Discord. After the 4th time I baked my IMAX video card to bring it out of death, I literally had my video card die on my iMac, my 2011 iMac. That's what I used streamed on for 2018, 2019. That's what I live streamed on. I baked it for the 4th time. And Loyal's like, man, when are you going to give this up? Can we build you a PC? And I'm like, yes, let's build a PC.
Okay.
So he PC part picked out like just a whole bunch of parts. I went and bought them all. I have no problem. I used to work IT. So I built the computer. I had it up and running in like a day. Literally, I built it the day before I had a live stream that Saturday. And so it's a pretty nice PC. It's, it's a year or 2 old now, but it's perfect for what I'm doing. And so to answer your question, I've got enough horsepower here that I'm never taxing it. But here's the trick. And once Zoom figures this out, I don't know why Zoom doesn't do this, but they need to get on board with this. There's something called NDI, which is network something, interface or
network
something
display interface, I think.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's basically a video feed that you can put out on your local network. So Skype makes every person who calls in to a Skype call its own NDI feed. So on OBS, all I have to do is add an NDI feed for Gordo and Valerie and Amanda and Dawn. And then when they're on or off of the show, I just tick the box to turn on their feed or not. And boom, it auto connects and it's good to go. Because it connects right to the Skype call.
So Jason has me and you calling in. If he sniffed his network, he will see 2 feeds coming in and he can connect to them individually and have 1080p, which I'm sending him, clean video of me.
If you were coming in through Skype.
It's even better than that, though. So you don't have to sniff anything. You just
Skype.
add it. You just Skype. That's the trick. Skype.
Now you
just add an NDI source, and then you just say auto figure out what the bandwidth is. So it'll actually adjust as appropriate. There's some OBS hacks that I had to add in to make it all sticky, like it's stuck at the proper dimensions. But once you do that, it's easy.
Cool. So there's a way to do that with Zoom. But basically, in a nutshell, which with Zoom and I'm still using Streamlabs. So what you're seeing on YouTube right now is all spitting out to you through Streamlabs.
Yeah, we got to talk about that after the show.
Okay,
we all got to get off Streamlabs.
I wonder why you've switched. So we can talk about that later. Because I used OBS for a long time and I switched to Streamlabs and I like it. I just like the layout better. It's just a personal thing.
I agree, but there's some. Anyway,
okay, we'll talk about
real
that
quick.
later.
They stole software. They stole software from a ton of developers. So everybody's getting off of Streamlabs because of this issue that they're having.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going down the
there's a way to bring in NDI to via Zoom to Streamlabs, or I assume OBS also.
I tried. I couldn't get it to work.
Here's the trick: you have to have a second computer. And a second Zoom account. Now, your second Zoom account can be a free account because you can have up to 2 people, you and one other person, on a Zoom account for free with no time limit. Okay, so if I fire up Zoom on this computer behind me and send that link to Frank, and then I fire up my regular Zoom on this computer and send that link to you, Josh. I can bring you in each as a separate NDI feed and manipulate it just about how you could a Skype window. And I've already got 5 or 6 computers in my network. That didn't matter to me at all. I could do that. I tinkered with it some. It's a little bit tricky, and you know, like Streamlabs and OBS tend to do, if you don't use it for 2 or 3 sessions, it forgets all this stuff. You go back to it and you're like, wait a minute, this is not how I set up the first time. So I haven't really dove into it that deeply, but it will work. If you just put some time and effort into it, it will work. I'm actually looking at a totally new piece of software right now that I'll tell you about later, but it's okay. It's a paid piece of software. And I was like, man, I might need to step up into the big dog game one of these days. So I might try to, I got a free trial from them and I really like it, but there's a steep learning curve to it. And I just haven't had time to sit down and use it yet. But
my concern is that it's just another thing to break. If you got another computer, it's another thing to fail. That's the problem.
Yeah, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
So back to ham radio. Lately I've been activating a couple of parks around. I'm looking at doing a activation video some. But what do you got on your table? What do you want to tease for us here, Joss?
I've got a Pactena mini video going up tomorrow. I have so Thanksgiving, I was running all over the place Thanksgiving. Gordon West has a beautiful tradition. He has a meetup in Bolsa Chica State Beach here in Southern California with Chip and Janet, who, if you're familiar with the Southern California ham radio area, they work or are involved with HRO in Anaheim. And they go out to the beach in the morning, they set up a Yagi, they play radio all day, and while they're playing radio, they fry a turkey. And they got the whole spread, they got all the fixins out there. And they invited us out to come out. So it was me and my 2 boys. We went out there. We could only stay a couple hours because I had a boogie up to my mom's at around 4. We had to get up there. And man, that is a beautiful Thanksgiving tradition because they stay out, they get there in the morning, they cook the turkey, they got an early Thanksgiving meal, they play radio all day, and then they light up the bonfire pit at the Bolsa Chica location that they're at, and there's nobody on the beach. It's completely quiet. Nobody's there. So much fun. I had an absolute blast. I hope my family doesn't bug me to go to an event next year. Maybe tell all my family only have your Thanksgivings on the Saturday.
Right.
We'll go to that. Right. But man, they were mostly on 15 meters. The Yagi was for 15 meters, and Chips. By the way, for anybody that doesn't know, the Jay Leno video where they've got the CW operators competing with the kids with the cell phones for text messaging. Does everybody know that video?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Chip is one of the CW operators. Okay. So he's a fantastic CW op, and he's out there just hammering away. Doing both, though, single sideband CW. So I show up, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? You know, what do you want to work on? I'm like, well, I got my Buddy Stick Pro. It's already set up for 20 meters, or it's, that's where I generally run it. And so I set it up, and they're like, well, are you going to do single sideband? Can we come over and use the 705? I'm like, no, I'm just going to do I'm going to do FT8. And they're like, what? You're going to do FT8 on the beach? And like, you brought a computer? And I'm like, yeah, I brought my Tough Book. And so I'm literally just walking around the beach with my Tough Book wirelessly connected to my 705. Yeah. And they're all like, what's going on? This is crazy. It was pretty cool.
That sounds like something I would do. Yeah, I have totally done the FT8 from the not wireless computer to the 705, but I have done the the FT8 from the computer on the beach before. That is a real thing. I really like doing that, actually.
Oh yeah, the beach is great, particularly when it's salty water. It works out pretty well for you. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely true. Absolutely true. Cool.
That's awesome. Well, Jason, what do you think about us trying to do a regular meetup around some of the holiday times? We could get something like that going.
We might be able to get something like that going. We're going to do...
I don't want to do it on the day, but I'm willing to do it on a weekend.
That's possible. Yeah. My thing is always now, I say this and my wife rolls her eyes at me, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her for doing that.
I don't see it in the chat, so let it fly.
Yeah. So the first full weekend in November is opening weekend of deer hunting season in Texas. And that goes through like middle of January. So pretty much every weekend I've got something going on during that time, whether it's ham radio related or hunting season related. So yeah, but I tell you what, I liked our meetup we did last July for
Yes.
the Support Your Parks on the Air weekend.
Yes.
And we're gonna sort of do that next year with Charlie. I hope you're in on that, Frank. I think that you were part of that Discord discussion. But Charlie's going to kind of host a thing with us
Red
out
Summit?
there. Yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts? Because he's in Arizona.
That's
right?
gonna be our Grand Canyon thing we've talked about.
Oh, yes.
That weekend's gonna be So we're gonna meet up with Charlie, whether we meet him there or meet him at his house. He offered his house to a couple of us. He doesn't have room for everybody, I don't think, but he said we could meet at his house, spend the night, get up early the next morning. I think he said it's like a 6-hour drive. It's not very far to like that's
like up the coast of California. 6 hours.
6 hours.
Well,
is
6
nothing.
hours doesn't even get you outside of Texas.
Well, true.
No, I know.
True, yeah, but I can get to Memphis in almost 6 hours also if I go the other way.
Yeah,
but
where is it?
Drink. But no, it's not. I mean, maybe he said 4 hours. I don't remember. It wasn't a very far drive. If it's less than 10 hours, it's within a day's drive, in my opinion. So, but we're gonna meet with Charlie up there, and I think we're going to the southern rim of the Grand Canyon, which is a POTA spot. So we're gonna set up out there in POTA for the weekend, and then come home and chill out. So I think that he was setting that up. He put something in Discord a while back about it's going to be another YouTube ham radio meetup thing like Adam did for us last October.
Oh yeah, I was bummed I couldn't go to that one.
Yeah,
that was cool.
yeah.
And that actually, like, it was Adam. Dude, Adam is like super awesome.
Hey,
it started out as like a soda event, but then it
Yes.
had to evolve because
Yes.
of fires and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and Adam was just on point through the whole thing. I was like, man, that's
It
really
was
cool.
amazing.
He had that whole trip very well planned out and set aside and whatnot. And we had a great time. It was a great time out there, and he was talking about when we all kind of parted ways at the end of the weekend. He said, "Yeah, I may try to set something up for next summer." I'm like, "You do it, and I'll be here. That's fine." My only regret was that I flew out there instead of drove out there. I think I'm gonna drive out there next time.
Oh, come on.
So
I like
you've
flying.
Quartz Fest is relatively soon coming up. Are you going to go to that? Because you're already camper minded.
I need to go to okay, so have you ever been to that?
No, and I keep threatening to go. I've got so many people that are bugging the crap out of me to go because, again, it's like, for me, it's very close. Right. Arizona's a fast drive.
But there's one problem with Quartz Fest. It ends on Winter Field Day weekend.
Correct. Yeah. And that's my big drawback. It's a week long. It starts the weekend before Winter Field Day and it ends the Saturday of Winter Field Day. And we've been, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've done a big Winter Field Day shindig at my hunting lease up here.
That's right.
So and that's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with that. So Quartz Fest is on my bucket list. I want to go do it. What I heard just recently, someone told me, I think it was Matt, I think 84MQ, I think it was him that was telling me this. He's like, well, you know that Quartz Fest is like an overlanding thing. It's not just ham radio. And I'm like, what are you talking? It's a ham fest. Oh, no. It's a ham fest on the back side of this overlanding show. And there's this big overland. I didn't know that. I never knew. I thought it was just all ham radio something.
No. No, it's like Burning Man's the wrong term, but they're boondockers.
They're
all boondockers.
Right. Yeah. In fact, Burning Man was happening in California when we got to the airport to rent the car. We met Charlie out there.
It was the weekend prior.
It was the weekend prior. They
had all the signs.
I had all the signs up says you cannot rent a car for Burning Man.
No, it says you can rent a car, but there will be a $500 cleaning.
That's right.
Attached.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. So, but yeah. So, well, let me hold on. Let me thank a couple of super chats in here. Somebody had a big one up here a minute ago. Okay, so Ham Radio Hobo. Need help on Logbook of the World mobile logging? Have an account, but CQ Zone and IT Zone show home QTH, IT Zone, and CQ Zone. So thank you for the $20 super chat. I think what you have to do is set up a different, not a different account, but a different QTH inside of Logbook of the World for every place you want to activate. I had to do that. I set one up for my Costa Rica QTH and call sign. I set one up for my home QTH. I set one up for my Galveston QTH. So you have to set that up.
That's when you pull up the TQSL app, right? You pull up the TQSL app and then you create a location.
You create a location.
One of your locations that you're operating from.
That's right. Yeah.
For me, though, I try and make it easy by having one central log at home, and then all my mobile logs, hammers or whatever, I email myself and then I import them into my home log.
Yeah. That's a way to do it. I'm actually kind of working on a thing to take all these logs I have and put them into a central log database that is not just restricted to your home QTH Logbook of the World type thing, but can work in that direction. So it's kind of a long process to do that, but you could spend a whole live stream on that whole subject, but it's doable. You just got to know how to do it. So,
yes.
And he also asked another $5 super chat. How does one log mobile and have logs upload correct mobile? So mobile and portable location, you basically, if you're talking Logbook of the World, you have to set up a different QTH for every location, which is kind of a pain in the butt. I wouldn't even worry about Logbook of the World if you're talking mobile and portable. I would just do it for your home. Or if you have a portable location that you go to consistently, like I have a location for my Galveston house because I go there all the time. It's always in the same place. But all my POTA logs, I don't even put those in Logbook of the World. I don't worry about it. That's my own preference. But yeah, so thanks for the super chats on that. And there goes Stephen Mulvey again. Yes, yeah. I am from New Zealand. I just got an 878 UV Plus on order. Do you still have an alter a DMR ID dump with Excel in order to import the contact device? This easier way now. I don't really want to buy Excel. I don't know if it'll work.
Oh, if you have to convert the CSV. Yeah.
Right. I would check out N0 GSG Contact Manager, and I think you can use it without Excel through that. But I have not tried. I've had Excel for a number of years, so I haven't actually tried that. The last time I tried it with OpenOffice, it would not work, but that was a couple of years ago.
How about Google Docs online?
You got it, Frank.
You might
Google Docs.
That might work too. That might work
I
too.
don't know, sure. But I was just throwing it out.
I believed I did that the last time I uploaded the user database.
Okay.
And it didn't load it through Google Docs, but you get what I mean. Like do the conversion over. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So good. Okay.
There's a good question. Patrick M asks, can anyone recommend a decent FRS HT? Do you have a good decent FRS HT?
No.
I like the Unidens, the little
Unidens good.
Baby ones, the three AAA cell ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I give my kids. So if they can survive my kids, they can survive anything. So
the ones that Bridgecom just released are a little pricey, but they are very solid. So if you're going to talk about something that is durable that you could give your kids, the Bridgecom ones will work. They are a little pricey. Some people think they're overpriced. Okay, but if you go buy the $30 blister pack at Walmart, it's not going to survive your first hunting trip. So it really depends on how many times you want to buy $30 radio as compared to a $100 radio. Once you kill 3 of those $30 radios, you're already up to $100. So
I like the Spider-Man FRS radios. Anything Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, always good.
Yeah.
I find the Doctor Strange pretty good because they also work as a ghost radio, which is great.
Right. Yeah.
So you can tap into the mysticism side.
True. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. So good. Okay. Well, circling back to Ham Nation, that was very good info. I knew part of that Twit story, but I didn't realize. And I knew that they had. Is Twit still in existence, or did they completely shut down by now?
Oh yeah, they're still around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
but they're focusing on kind of what their bailiwick is. They had to kind of pull things in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
To stay profitable, to maintain the staff they have, right? Those are things that have to happen. Okay. Again, with we started out talking about costs of doing business and for radio manufacturers. Well, it's no different for somebody that produces content online and you have to employ people. Same kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Now, just to be a little throwing the monkey wrench there, but during COVID, we saw the highest streaming numbers that we ever did see. But I guess if the advertisers did pull out, they weren't paying for the content in the same numbers, then it doesn't matter. Your numbers are highest what you ever seen. No one's helping you to create that content.
Right, and I'm not privy to any of
no. This is pure speculation.
Yeah. So all I know is that was their stated reason that they posted on their blog. And I actually was able to communicate with a lot of people at Twit, the producers of the show beforehand. They gave me the assets for the show, and they kind of explained how they used to do things. It was really helpful. Everything that they were great to talk to and work with.
Just out of curiosity, you want to tell us who that was? Because I'm having a fanboy moment.
He's a back end guy. Well, who are you fanboying over?
I don't know. I was just wondering who it was. I've been a big supporter of Twit, and I love a lot of their content. I kind of found out of it, but I still know a lot.
It was the guy who did all the production on the back end.
Well,
I was just curious. You don't need to look it up.
As I'm sure,
I'm looking it up.
As I'm sure you heard, Josh, when you were out at the Last Man Standing Studios.
Yeah.
Jelly. Both of y'all saw that.
Talking to John out there, it's a different ball game in the television market today than it was 20 or 30 years ago because of online streaming, YouTube, Twitch, and all this other stuff. Used to be you'd have, back when the days of like Dallas was running, you'd have, several million people watching the show when it was live. Well, now you've got on-demand Netflix, you've got YouTube, you've got all this other stuff, all these other options. So the numbers that they see on TV shows today is just not what it used. There's just more options for stuff to watch out there. That's part of it. And a lot of it's, the TV shows that air at the same date and time, like every Tuesday at 7 p.m. or whatever, don't get the loyalty that they once did. A lot of people watch them on the replay, or they have it on demand through a service like YouTube TV or Hulu or something like that. So it's not as we have to sit down and watch this at 7:00 tonight.
Appointment content is no longer a thing.
Right.
Nobody wants to. I've got to be there at 7 p.m. for prime time television.
Right.
Nobody's got time for that anymore. We're on demand everything.
Yeah. In fact,
but as you watch all of us live, that you came and signed up to watch us. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. In fact, Sean Cannell says that I think it's in 2018. It might be 2019, as before COVID, and I think it's 2018. He said the number of viewers watching YouTube during primetime hours, so basically 6 to 10 p.m. in any given time zone, surpassed the number of people watching regular TV in primetime hours in like 2018. So there's actually more people watching YouTube at like 7 p.m. during a regular weekday now than there is watching regular TV. So
have you, out of curiosity, have you ever met Sean in person?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple times.
I did at VidCon when I went to VidCon.
The first time I ever met him was out here at Video Marketing World. This actually Video Marketing World right here. This is the one that happens in Dallas every year. He was there. And then like 3 weeks later, he did his show in Vegas that he does with his own thing.
Right, because he's in Vegas, right?
Right, he's in Vegas. So, and I flew out to Vegas 3 weeks after that and went to that show as well. That was in 2019. Cool. So he's a great dude. But really wealth of knowledge there. So
I mean, it's kind of cool. The thing, I think I mentioned it on, I don't remember when I mentioned it the first time, but when you watch a sitcom, what is a sitcom? It's kind of like a comedy. It's kind of something to turn your mind off a little bit. You kind of just watch this thing unfold in front of you, even if it's a really complex show. But when it's YouTube, and particularly when we're going live, there are these like tightly compartmentalized things that we're talking about, right? And they exist in the niche that you want to know more about, which is great about YouTube is like literally it's a catalog of all the different hobbies you could want. And there's tons of people, there's probably thousands of people live streaming right now. You happen to be watching this one because we're talking about ham radio, or at least mildly talking about
we're sort of talking about ham radio. Yeah.
but that's the point, right? Is that like that's the beautiful thing about YouTube is that you can spend your time learning more about the thing you want to do. Right. So I always say that on my channel is it's about giving you the information so that you can go forward and live whatever it is you want to live. You could just want to watch me dink around with radios. That's fine. But ideally, you go out and activate and do all the fun stuff and play radio yourself. And that's where YouTube excels, whereas major television channels can't, because that audience factor would be tiny, minuscule if they focused into a certain group.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing about YouTube. It really is.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there I am. That's in August.
There you go.
Is that August of 20? I think that's in August of 2019.
Yeah, he's kind of a tall guy.
He's a tall dude.
Yeah, he's
of course,
kind of a tall dude.
I'm absolutely not a tall dude. So
I know, but yeah.
So he kind of bent over.
I believe he's taller than me. Yeah.
Yeah. He is. Yeah. He's a pretty tall dude, but he's a really cool guy. He's the type of guy that comes up to you, just starts talking to you like he's known you for 5 years. So.
Oh yeah, he's got that personality.
Yeah,
he definitely does, which is kind of a, that's part of the whole YouTube thing too. Is if you have that kind of personality, you generally, it helps out a little bit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being taller than Jason helps out a little bit. That's what I got from that conversation.
Jason
probably
does
true.
fine.
Probably true. So
because you got tripods, they're adjustable, right?
That's right.
It's all shot placement.
The first time I ever went to a Hamfest and someone came up to me, it was a local Hamfest here. Mm-hmm. So someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, I watch you on YouTube," and I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" And I was just like, "Okay, thanks for watching." And they're like, "Yeah, you look taller on camera," and I'm like, "Okay." And then like that happened like half a dozen times later that same show, and I'm like, okay, I'm running with that. That's a thing now. So
the problem is when you go to Huntsville and you see K5ATA.
Oh my God,
that guy,
what a Sasquatch!
Tall.
Oh my God,
but he's big. Like I'm not saying fat. Like nobody.
No. He's just a big dude.
Man.
Yeah.
He's a big man, and you're like. I'm not tall, but I'm not really skinny or anything like that. I'm just kind of like average.
Yeah.
But even he's like towering over me. He's a big guy, and literally there's pictures. It was like you and
I'll go find that one.
Jason, the other Jason,
yeah,
and AA0.
I think it was Mike.
It's Kyle. No, it's Kyle.
Was it Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Mike too.
I think Mike was there too. But yeah. Let's see. I've got that picture somewhere. Oh, you know what? That might be in another spot though.
Great picture though.
But yeah,
great picture.
it was a really good picture. Yeah. I have to find that because somebody else took that picture and I had him send it to me. I think it's filed another way.
Yeah, but you just give Good Game coffee and you're in like.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The first time I saw him, I didn't even recognize him. I was like, "Who is this?
Who is this guy?
Behemoth coming up?" And I'm just like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
That was my jam. It was Will from ICOM. I needed to do a video with them really quick, and I was like, "Hey, Will, you're standing here this whole time, right?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I've been here since the morning." I was like, "Can I get you a coffee or can I get you a drink or something?" He's like, "Dude, that would be great." And so I ran over and grabbed a coffee, came running back. He's like, "Man, let's do whatever video you want." That's the trick.
That's the trick right there. Yeah,
right there. Just bring beverages.
Just
have beverages on tap. That's right.
I remember there was one time we were at Hamcom and I was standing there with Chris from Buddy Pole and I'd brought him and there's this brewery out here in Bedford that he absolutely loves. He's like, "Dude, you got to bring me some stuff when I get to Hamcom." I'm like, "Okay, I'll bring you some stuff." So I'm coming over to his booth and we've got the cooler back there and I bring him a couple of 4-packs and whatnot. And we picked one up and we're like, "Hey, let's pose for a picture." We're like this. And Ray from ICOM walks by and he's just like, "Hey, this is craft beer buds getting together at Hamfest, man. This is awesome." So he had this downtrodden look on his face, just shaking his head. It was funny.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's go over here. Okay, so let me acknowledge these couple of super chats. Stephen
I'm
Mole,
grab a beer while you do that.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Sounds good. Let me switch that right there. Frank, why don't you say something real quick?
Yeah.
There it goes.
Monday Night Ham Radio. I'm just created literally during when we've been talking the playlist. Monday Night Ham Radio playlist is coming up, and after I am done typing the link in the chat, there it goes. I'll read it off. We're going to be starting off at 5:30. Well, right now 5:30 because Jason hasn't given me the information about his video coming up, but around
shared to my
least
patrons.
Maybe potentially 5:30. Yeah, that's where it is right now.
Yeah.
Starting off Monday Night Ham Radio 2.0 is going to kick it off. Then it's going to be a 30-minute live stream with Rhea is going to be on my channel and talking about
I saw that.
That's no moon. That's the International Space Station. And
there's another reference. Who gets that?
Followed by KAMRD. Then we have I'm blanking on this one. AROTA.
Amateur Radio on the Air.
Yes, Amateur Radio on the Air is coming up after Mike.
John.
Yep.
John from the UK. He's got a Mike 7 call sign, I think. I think. Yeah, something like that. So yeah.
And then he's going, and then there will be Ham Nuggets. And I don't know who's guest starring on Ham Nuggets that night. Is that me? Am I gonna be on the Nuggets again? I think I'll be.
I'll be sure to tune in. I'll be sure to tune out for that one. So,
of course.
Well,
we don't need you, Jason.
I'm throwing my hat in. I will. I have a video for tomorrow, so I'll try and slot myself in there.
Okay.
Cool.
I may jump early. Try and jump in front of Jason, but we'll see how it goes.
Sure, that's fine.
And it's the Pac-10 Mini.
Yeah.
Pac-10 Mini 20-meter end-fed half wave.
Oh,
wow,
cool.
What a cool antenna! Literally, I'll spoiler alert a little bit. Literally put it up, turned it on, connected it to my 705. I'm rocking a whole 5 watts of power. And from Southern California, Big Bear. So I did get a 6,400 foot elevation little boost there. But first contact was Alberta, Canada. So right out the chute. Pretty good.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. I strung that thing up. I don't have the Mini. I have the end-fed half wave. And I strung
That's what I have. Mini end-fed half wave. I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
I thought the Mini was a different model, and the EFHW was another model. I may be wrong about
20
that.
meters, right?
20 meters? It's 20 meters. Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing.
Okay, it might be. I don't have because he's got one that's he's got a random wire.
Correct. He makes 2. The 9 to 1 on, and then the random wire, and then the end-fed half wave.
I was thinking he made 3, but maybe not. Anyway, so I got the end-fed halfway, whichever one that is, and it's a 20 meters, and I strung that up at my hunting lease, open weekend of deer season. That's when I recorded that video about the gazebo tent that I have. And I was just like, during the day when it got too hot to sit in the deer stand anymore, I would come back and I'd fire up the FTD X10 and 100 watts, and I probably made 5 or 6 POTA chasing contacts in like an hour. So I was just kind of tinkering around, not trying to be fast about it or anything, but that antenna was great. I checked into Bud Drummond's net on 17 meters several times. He's like, Jason, is that you? I said, yeah, I'm out here in North Texas. He's like, man, you're a great signal out here today. And those guys meet just for like a very informal rag chew every morning at like 11 a.m. So that was cool. Was fun. But,
an antenna so good, it's approved by Carlos, Life at Terminal Velocity, who jumps out of a plane with it. By the way, Carlos, I got your QSL card. I'm going to reply to you. I'm hopefully going to do it this week. I got a big stack of QSLs I got to go through, but yours is in there. I got you, buddy. We made a contact while he jumped. I was one of the few. I've tried to do this like 3 times now. Even when I hosted one of the live streams where he jumped, and I couldn't make a contact with him. I was so bummed out. And then I heard him on this last. Well, I don't know if he's done one since, but I heard them on one of the jumps, and we made it. I was super excited. So thank you, Carlos.
I tried to get him one time. We were out at the lake with the Buddy Hex beam. And he was jumping, and I told the guys, I was like, this guy's about to jump out of a plane. So we all listened to him, and we could hear all the traffic going back to him. And I threw my call some minute. He was just working this pileup, and I couldn't really get to him. So I haven't got him in my logbook yet while he's in the air.
I don't know if I ran power for that. I might have put power behind the Yagi on that one.
That's probably helps.
Probably helps a little bit.
Probably helps. Oh, good deal. Okay. Well, hey, I want to talk about, let's see.
Yeah, I got plenty of time. You want to go over an hour? We're good.
Yeah. Check this out. Ham Tactical. So this is Josh's website where he sells t-shirts. I sell t-shirts on my website too, but there's different designs on each one. This one really got me right here.
These ones are largely from our podcast. If like we're screwing around talking on the podcast, and we had what it was this whole like ham radio. Oh man, I can't remember what it was, but it's basically like people that are what is it? I can't remember the term. Anybody in the podcast can remember anyway, but this came out of it, and Fang was one of them. Yeah.
If you're a child in the 90s, you should recognize that. Yeah. I got the reference of that almost. There's a reference to several of the shirts that you do that I don't get, but I got the reference to that. I'm like, because that should say dare to keep kids off drugs.
Right.
So it says Fang, so which is much more relevant in today's world.
That's the joke of like, if you want to keep a kid off drugs, show them ham radio.
Showed it right, yeah.
And they'll not do drugs, and they'll have no money either.
Right, yeah. Well, I've got a T-shirt on my site that says, "Get your kids into ham radio, so they'll never have money for alcohol or drugs."
Right.
So that's basically the same thing.
I killed the meme, but you fixed it. Yes, that's right.
That's all right. That's all right. This one's cool too. I've got 2 of Brie.
Well, you know the whole pretty. I've got to be break free.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, so got some cool stuff.
The Rock, thank you, Joseph Collins. The Rock bottom line is what we called it. And it was shirts we could never make. The Fang shirt was the only one we could technically make. The other one that this is really off color. You'd have to listen to the podcast for the context. But it was like, again, children of the 90s, you always got these like crazy, visceral, highly intense videos of people doing drugs, and it was always like a dude who had like a rubber band in his mouth, and he was like, shooting up or whatever,
like Pulp Fiction style.
Right. And the picture was going to be the same guy who was all tied off, but he had a bow fang, and he was taking the antenna and shoving it in his arm. That was the one that couldn't get made.
Oh
but that was
God.
when I cooked up on the podcast. I'm like, man, that's going too far.
That's
I don't think I can push that.
When y'all were talking about the podcast, I pretty much was dying laughing when you're talking about that. When I was driving, I was just like, that is amazing, and I will buy that.
I don't think it'll ever get made. It's too real. It's too real.
It's too real. It's too real.
I am still surprised when every time I hear an email, someone says I'm allergic or not allergic to bees. Every time I hear that,
there's a shirt now. There's two shirts. There's two shirts now for that.
I still don't have the shirt. I'm waiting for the shirt.
Oh, that's right. We do. Wait, so Leia has she contacted you?
No, I sent the email.
Oh, was that your idea for a shirt, Frank?
Yes. Well, it was a tagline I signed my name to, and I was trying to reference something, and it just exploded to this whole thing, and I love it. But I
now people that are emailing us at the tagline at the end of the email, they say whether they are allergic or not allergic to bees. Why? No idea. Other than Frank started it, and I was so perplexed by it because I didn't catch his reference. He was talking about a Brian Brushwood podcast or the show that one of the shows he does, and I was like, I didn't get it, and it just took off.
Oh my gosh!
So,
you never know what's going to come out of stuff like that. I mean,
the podcast is a lot of weird stuff like that.
Yeah. So what reference?
Well, Frank, you'll get it. I promise. Sometimes the shipping department of the HRCC is a little behind. That's not my fault. That's the shipping department. I'll let her know when we get off the street.
Hey, you know what? I get the same thing, and I'm a one-man show. I do all my stuff myself, and I get the same thing sometimes on my when people order. They're like, "Well, I thought this was in stock," and I'm like, "Okay, so here's what's in stock. The design is in stock. The size, color, material, and long and short sleeve choices you make are made on demand." So in other words, my printer has all these designs that I have on the website, but when you order a medium shirt in black or a large shirt in gray or a large long sleeve shirt in drywick material, she orders those she usually orders them in bulk, but she may not have everything all the time every day.
Right.
So I have to place an order with her. She has to take the design, put it on the shirt, and then send it to me, or I go pick them up usually. And then that's when it gets mailed out. So this keeps me from having to keep a bunch of inventory in stock, because I got a bunch of inventory in there now with some old DMR shirts that never sold. Which are
Is it DMR 3?
no, it's just DMR. But a couple of DMR shirts, a couple of Brandmeister shirts, but I mean, it worked out okay, but it keeps me from having to keep a bunch of on-hand stock that I can't, because if I order a bunch of shirts in XX, everybody's going to want large. So if I order a bunch of large, everybody's going to want XX. And if I order a bunch of gray, everybody's going to want black, and that kind of thing. So
too many colorways and sizes will kill you.
Yeah.
So what's the largest? I mean, I guess this is a ham radio question. What is the primary size that hams order?
XX.
Your shirts. Is it double X?
Yeah. Double X. Yeah. I've got some triples and some quad X's out there. I don't know why, but most people who order quad X are ordering a Smoke and Ape t-shirt. Go figure. I don't know what the deal is on that.
That and talls. There's a lot of people that want an XL and a tall, which makes sense because again, Steve, right? You got your Steves out there who need a tall, right?
Yeah. But there's some triples and quads out there. I think I've had one guy one time ask me for a 5X, and I made it for him. But double X is definitely the most prevalent. I mean, just for whatever reason, it's just that's the size that gets the order the most on my website.
I'm just elated that I am now a single X.
Nice.
Yes.
Good.
A double X will still fit me nicely, but some shirts I can finally wear a XL.
So I'm trying to get some hoodies, Frank, in that military green color, and
yes.
And she can't find they're not available right now.
They're not available.
I can get them in black, but I can't get them in that green color. So
maybe let's just do black, and then
we'd have to change the color of your logo. All of all of the logos we have for you right now are black.
Maybe we'll change the logo to the green. We could print that olive green on a black.
We could do that. I could check on that. Maybe we could get like a gray hoodie, something like that.
We'll talk more.
We can talk more about that anyway. Yeah. But I was really wanting to get some military green hoodies, and we're going to be making some boonie hats as well. We've got some some boonie hats picked out, and going to be.
You know how many times I get hit up a week about that?
I know.
Mostly from one guy over there in Frisco.
Oh yeah. You mean Don? You mean SKT?
Yes.
Yeah. He's so I emailed her about boonie hats, and she sent me like 7 different varieties of them, and I'm like, holy crap! So I had to go pick out the one that I liked the best.
Wait, 7 different types of boonie hats? How many boonie hats are there?
How many
types of boonie hats are there?
I think she was really kind of taking a liberal definition of the word boonie hat, because a couple of them look like those fishing hats that were round with the bill that
the
comes
little
straight
things
down
on the side. You can put the lures in. And
well,
all
that's
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't have that on them, but you could put that on them if you want to. But that sort of hat, a couple of them were like that.
A bucket hat.
Like a bucket hat, kind of like that.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's not really a boonie hat. And then a couple of them were like a Australian cowboy looking hat, and I'm like, yeah, that's not really right either. But then a couple of the ones she sent me, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of depends on, and there's a couple different manufacturers who makes them, but it's, I mean, they look cool. They're going to be look cool with the Ham Radio 2.0 and Tank Radio logos on them and whatnot. So it might be kind of fun to do. So we'll have those soon. But that's what we're doing with that. So running an apparel website is hard work because.
Oh yeah, and you're printing and holding and shipping. Like you're shipping.
Right.
That's a thing, man. Mm-hmm. That's a thing. That was the one Leia said. The one thing she's not going to do is hold product. So it's all ship on demand.
It's order on demand. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
which I mean, there's different reasons to do it one way or the other.
Right.
One is that we have no room to hold any kind of supply.
Yeah. So, well, I don't necessarily mind holding the supplies, but it's like I said, it's you order a bunch of shirts and and you sell everything but large, and you've got 20 or 30 larges left over, and everybody's asking, when are you going to get more double X's in? I was like, I need to sell these larges. I got all this money wrapped up over here. So rather than doing that, and then you do that for 10 different designs, and you've got all these shirts sitting around you can't get rid of or that move really slowly.
I'll prepare myself with what I'm about to say. But that's because you have a palatial Texas estate that you can hold stock in. And here in California, I don't have that. So I said Texas. There you go. I'll drink.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
I'll join you.
Good deal. I took when I was kind of on the mend the other day, I think it was Friday afternoon, something like that, Frank. My throat was real dry. Mm-hmm. I was like, I made the video. I'll post it later. I was like, I'm kind of feeling tired. I was like, you know what? I think a shot of 4 Roses would do me good right now. So I took
Yes,
absolutely.
You still have a bottle of that.
I got that single bottle. I got that single barrel that you didn't want to take home from California, and I'm like, I'll put it in my bag.
Because the intent was, I'm bringing this, and we're drinking this, and I'm not bringing it home. But so
I brought it home.
Ended up, yeah.
Yep. Oh, there's Mike in the chat. What's up, buddy?
At Huntsville, I had the Eagle Rare, which I stumbled upon that and never seen it since. Yeah, I brought that and I said, here we go. We're drinking this tonight. Put it on the table. It was gone in 30 minutes. Everyone poured them a liberal shot or pour of that, and everyone loved it. I haven't found it since.
Many years ago, I was on a podcast called the Ice Cream Social Podcast, which is
no.
I think I've heard
you
it.
You were?
Yeah, I podcast. I don't know how it all worked out, but I was in the area and they all follow me on Twitter, and I was just tweeting them, and I said, hey, I'm going to watch Penn and Teller. Is it cool if I come by and just check out the podcast studio? And they're like, yeah, come by. And then they just put me on, and it turned out that they got a bunch of emails from flat earthers. And so I just responded to all these flat earthers, which was really funny. And I bought them a bottle of Eagle Rare. It's a very good whiskey. Eagle Rare should be on people's lists. It's really good. Well, you listen to Ice Cream Social too?
Yes.
You'd have to go back like 2 or 3 years.
I'm sorry, I'm fanboying a little bit. That was one of the one podcasts I listened to religiously, along with yours. The other one is Penn Sunday School.
Yeah, Penn Sunday School.
Every week I hit him up, and there's another one I'm not going to drop here because it's too nerdy.
No, the best one is Last Podcast on the Left. That is the best podcast. Period.
Last Podcast on the Left.
Yeah, I mean it's only gonna. Okay, go look at the titles of it. If you're not interested, keep going. The titles are on the nose with what it is, but it's very funny. Right. For me, I find it hilarious.
The other one I'm listening to very heavily right now, it's my morning listen to, is the Delta Flyers. We were talking about this in your after chat. They are going through the actors who play Tom Paris and another actor. I'm blanking on his name right now. Kim on the show, and they're going through every episode of Voyager, and they're breaking it down, how they recorded it. Some episodes
Star Trek
they
Voyager?
directed. Yes.
Really?
Every episode, and I'm running through that, watching an episode a night, and then in the morning, that's the first thing I listen to before I jump in the car.
Really?
Nice.
That might be I might be
Did you like Voyager? Are you a Voyager guy?
I didn't like Voyager as much as Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, but I liked how it was tied into the other two. I liked how Janeway was in the Next Generation movies, and I read the books that led up where she actually died and she was absorbed in the Q continuum or whatever it was. And then so I kind of followed that storyline.
Wait, you read the books?
Yeah.
You read the book? Oh, okay. I forget.
Not all of them. Not all of them, but yeah.
I forget how much of a Star Trek fan you are. You are actually into Star Trek.
Yeah. I actually have probably almost every. Well, I shouldn't say that. I have most of the Star Trek books ever written.
Wow.
I don't have all of them, but I have a good chunk of them. So I don't have a lot of the original series ones, but I have a lot of the stuff like the reboot of Deep Space Nine and the reboot of like the Time to Kill, the Time 2 series for Next Generation, and that kind of stuff. And I haven't read as many as I have, but I read. Yeah, I started at the end of when the Next Generation series ended, and they had a few books here and there that went this way, and then that led up to the movies, and then when the movies ended, they had a few more after that. So it's kind of like an expanded universe type thing that I enjoy kind of following all that. But yeah, so I didn't like Voyager as much as the other ones, but it fit nicely into the universe, I thought.
I kind of liked how Voyager had a overarching storyline. It wasn't every episode, and it was kind of I forgot the technical term, but DS9, a lot of people are commenting in the chat. I'm going to bring that up. In DS9 had a better overarching storyline. It wasn't Monster of the Week, and I did.
But that
enjoy
took a
DS9.
while to get started. Took a while to get started. The
It
first
did,
couple seasons are Monster of the Week. It's totally just one episode.
Yeah,
boom,
well,
boom,
it
boom.
was,
and then you get to the third-ish season, and then you get the wider story arc.
If you think about it this way, Deep Space Nine is the only Star Trek series that did not take place on a starship. They were in the same place every week. Yep. So every episode,
kind of like
they were
Babylon 5-ish.
Sort of like that.
They got kind of sued for that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like when Babylon 5 came out, it was Star Trek was in its heyday. Babylon 5 came out. There was some other show called, I can't remember what it's called right now, but yeah, it was kind of like that same thing. But yeah, Deep Space Nine was its own monster because like original series, Next Generation, Enterprise, Voyager all took place on a starship, and they were traveling, exploring the universe. Deep Space Nine, they were in the same place every week. Now Voyager was cool because it was like basically the crew of the USS Voyager from the Federation.
It's like Lost in Space on
right,
a spaceship.
Yeah.
Right, it's cool.
It's a
like,
totally different area,
premise.
totally
Cool
different
premise.
quadrants, totally different aliens, different worlds, different everything. It was like, hey, let's take these Star Trek people and transport them over here to this other universe.
Right.
And it was like, and they had a good explanation for that because they hit that wormhole and when they end up in what Gamma Quadrant, whatever it was. So but it was a good premise. I was like, it was okay. It just
I never fell in love with it.
No, I
really
didn't either.
It couldn't hook me. But everybody watching, go watch The Expanse. That is the
Yes.
The best thing running is The Expanse.
I've heard good things about that, but I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, Jason, please go watch it. You'll love it. You will love it.
It's the most physics accurate that we can get in a lot of sci-fi, and they spend time and money trying to display the physics correctly and how they free float in space and when they're not walking around the spaceship. It is very good, and the storyline is very compelling until I think the last season. I wasn't quite sucked in like I was in the first 2 seasons.
Down to the construction of the spaceships, right? So if you think of like the space shuttle, right? It looked like a plane,
right?
And the cockpit, like people looked out of the front of it. In The Expanse, the vertical spaceship, if it's vertical, the decks are perpendicular to the thrust, and the thrust of the spaceship is what provides gravity for the people to walk around when they're under thrust going to where they're going. It all exists in our solar system, which is awesome because you all understand the concepts. Like it's basically largely involved around the asteroid belt around Jupiter. The belters, right, are all Jupiter and Saturn area. Dude, it's so good. So good.
It's amazing.
Highly recommended.
And the thing I kind of like that is if you have continuous thrust and then also continuous deceleration, you always will have about a 1G of gravity, and you cut almost the transmit time between Earth and Mars and almost any respect of our orbitals to a month or less.
That's the whole thing with Voyager, right? Like Voyager is consistently, or not. That was the height, the drive system that they put on that probe that just keeps speeding up the gravity.
Ion drivers.
The ion drive, that's it. Yeah,
we don't have anything really past that.
That's not Voyager. That's Discovery.
No. We actually put out. No, I mean we put a probe out. That speeds up over time. I mean, they're always going faster, right? Given enough time.
But anyway. Given with a constant acceleration, you can get to the moon in about 4 hours. And it just makes travel time so much more easier, but we need to do it with energy and not propellants, and that's something that we have to crack.
Man, we got nerdy. You got me on here, and we're talking some.
Hey
nerd
man, you're
stuff.
showing my true nerd card here.
Yeah. Well, hey, look, can I throw a question out there, Jason?
Yeah, go for it.
What are you guys all using for POTA now? Like I know Mike was in the chat earlier, KMRD, and he had a big POTA day, and he was running the 891.
Yeah.
I'm still doing, generally, I just take the 705 with me wherever I go. Sometimes I'll take the Go box with the 7300 in it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times I just run it QRP and just do the 10 watts with the external battery. So what's everybody doing?
Frank, I'll let you answer after me. I know what you're doing.
Okay.
I gave you your radio, but let me go first.
Go ahead.
What?
No.
Okay.
I will say my piece.
Because I'm curious about what antenna you're using, Frank. So we'll get to that. So, okay, I'm gonna catch hell for saying this, but I don't really care. I still don't like QRP. I still don't like QRP. I just can't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now, well, every time I say that, somebody 5 watts talk around the world. Yeah, you can. Okay, so we live down here in the flatlands. Okay, QRP is just not as viable as it is if you're on a mountain in California, wherever. Okay.
Well, but I would say that for being on the flatlands in California, QRP is not viable.
Well, that's true.
Point,
that's
right?
true.
QRP is always difficult.
It's always difficult. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. Now I need to do an actual POTA activation with QRP, which I have not done yet. I have actually not done that yet. Well, I did that when we were at our campsite in the mountains in California with Adam and Charlie and everybody, but I did it on the 705 with FT8 because I called on sideband, never could reach anybody. But once I started calling CQ POTA on FT8, I was making contacts. So I activated that campsite, which was in the same park we went to the next day. We activated that same park 3 or 4 times during that weekend. But FT8 obviously is much easier to use QRP. If I want to go out and do a POTA, I usually want to take 100 watts. So generally speaking, I'm with the 7300, and I change my antennas around. Sometimes I use my my TN07 flagpole antenna. I've been using my Buddy Stick Pro works really well. I've used the end-fed half-wave from Pac-10 a couple times. Mike and I have done some activations together. We're either usually on my 7300 or his FT891 with the Pac-10. But I've started using the FTDX 10 also, just because the filtering on that radio is just excellent and fantastic. But it's a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier than the 7300 is. But so to date, I generally still take the 7300 and some antenna. That's usually what I use.
Okay.
So,
what did Frank say?
Frank, you go ahead.
Okay. I have a generous, what do they call them in the old days? Contributor, the science guy, or the science guy.
You're saying Bill Nye's sponsoring your channel?
Yeah,
no,
Frank,
dude,
Bill Nye?
I'll be over.
For you, come on, man.
I'll be over the moon.
Be like Neil deGrasse Tyson sponsoring my channel, guys.
Benefactor. I have a generous benefactor that's in this room that is letting me use a G90. So I have a G90.
No, that's your G90.
That's my G90.
That's your G90.
Okay, it's my G90.
That G90 was donated to me by MFJ back in the day, and I did some videos on it, and I pointed people to MFJ's website. Really thanked MFJ for that. So I've hammed it forward with you. That's your G90 now.
All right.
You've been ham forward.
Yeah, that's right.
Id.
Id.
So I got a G90. I'm really liking it. The antenna, I got an Adams spark plug kind of thing that I think he's going to be selling here soon.
Yeah, you got the G90 antenna too, right? It was you, myself, and Sterling, I think, got one.
Yes. I've been using it. It's been a great antenna. I need to really figure out particularly the best way to deploying it. But every time I used it on 20 meters, it's been phenomenal. Great antenna on 20 meters. It can go up to 40, and I just need to figure out how much the antenna wire I need to run, because it gets a little long. But it's been great. I used it in my backyard, and when I was been hunting, I really wish I had more power in my backyard when I'm hunting. Just 20 watts is great when I'm activating. It's 20 watts also kind of counts for QRP, or is that not QRP?
Depends on who you ask. I always tell people it's QRP, but if you want to get really, really technical, 10 watts is the QRP limit.
Okay.
And most people get mad at me if I go above 5 watts. They're like, 5 watts is the limit for QRP. And
most contests will say if you're 10 watts or less, you're QRP.
Correct.
So that's what so in my mind, if the contest is saying it's QRP, then it's QRP. Yeah, 20 watts is technically more than QRP, but it's still not 100 watts. So
right.
Yeah, so I'm using that. But I just wished when I was in my backyard and in the house, I had more power to bust through those pileups. And maybe, I hear the stations sometimes. It's just I'm not getting to them. But when I'm in the park activating with that G90 and 20 watts,
it's great.
Beautiful.
Now I have done POTA activations with the G90. In fact, Frank, when we went to Lake Texoma last year, that's what I was primarily using. And activating it with 20 watts, single sideband 20 watts, and the G90 was very simple to do. But I think that was before the 705 was out even, I believe. But yeah, it was a good activation that time.
But I have my surface for logging using hammers, and that's about it. In a battery, that's in my POTA pack, which I'm looking to do that video coming up on not this Monday, but following Monday.
Cool, good deal.
But
so there's Larry Ford in the chat says, Jason and Josh, I have a POTA 1/4 mile from my front door. I'm very jealous.
No doubt.
I think all of us are envious of that.
No doubt.
And 10 plus parks within 30 miles.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
RIC. Dude, I cannot think of a better, just go nuts. Literally, I would be like, well, we're going crazy, kids. Load up the picnic basket. We're going. We're playing radio for the next 6 months.
Give us your grid square so we can all move to you.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that for me in Galveston, because Galveston Island State Park is about a 7-minute drive from our house down there. In fact, you could probably walk there on the beach within, It'd probably take you about a half hour to walk down the beach that far. But if you get in the car and get on the highway and drive down like 7 minutes, it's right. It's probably not even. It's probably like closer to 5 minutes. It's right there, and so you could go set up, go home for lunch, come back if you wanted to. So it's and I've activated that park a few times, but it's nice having it. Yet where I'm living right now, the closest park's at least 30 minutes away. So,
I think so the closest parks to me are actually the beach, which is I know I hate. It's so hard
let
for
me
me.
go to the beach.
Yeah. So that's the closest parks for me is to go down to the wildlife sanctuary down in Bolsa Chica. But like the parks that are like quote unquote a parkish area with trees and stuff, that's like a good 45 plus minutes away from me. It's actually I take that back. Watts Towers, which if anybody history books like Watts riots, the Watts Towers is actually a park. I could activate that. I haven't looked to see if it's been activated before. I should just drive out there and activate it. And then like Pio Pico's mansion is also a park. By the way, really great hike or a tour that you can go on. It's a I'm going to say, I don't know that he's Spanish. He might have been Spanish, but this is all like mission era time, like California mission era.
Are they
like
really
early
historical sites?
Yeah, it's a historical site.
Yeah.
And so that's a POTA.
Yeah.
It's this really cool, it's like an adobe building that was their first home. And then once they started making all this money, they built this just crazy mansion. And you can go on a tour of it on both of them and you can kind of see the juxtaposition. But it's also a POTA, so you can just drive in the parking lot, I guess, if you got a mobile on your roof and just hammer out a bunch of contacts and bail. I should do that. I'll just do that.
Well, it's cool to have that in your logbook because when we were driving to Huntsville, we went through Lewis and Clark Historical blah blah something park, historical monument, park, wherever their campsite was or something like that. I don't remember. And Mike was like, "Oh, dude, we got to stop there on the way back." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do that." Well, we were wanting to go more than halfway back to home the first day, and that was only like a third of the way. So we're like, we didn't stop there. But next year, I think we might plan to stop at Lewis and Clark's Memorial Park. And also, when we were out at OBX last April, Matt and a couple of the guys were like, we should go activate Gettysburg one of these days. And I'm like, yes.
Ooh,
yes, let's do that. Because the historical stuff really, really interests me.
Oh, yeah.
And we activated Kitty Hawk when we were there in North Carolina, of course.
Ooh,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool place.
I didn't activate it, but
did you not?
There.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I spent too much time in the tourist area and walking the flight line and
yeah.
So, Jason, you'll probably know this. What was the air rifle that Lewis and Clark? Was it the Giordani or the Giordini air rifle that they had? So they had a 12-shot 50 caliber air rifle that they brought on the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Take my money.
You got to have one of those if you're gonna go operate the park.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And they used to do like when they would meet different native peoples along the river, they would actually do an expedition, or an exposition. It was more of a show of force that they could literally pop off like 12 shots in a couple of seconds because it was all under air power, right? So they could just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Had an
really
air power
cool
rifle.
Yeah. But that was like Lewis and Clark days. It was an air rifle. Yeah. The butt was actually the pressure chamber. Really, really cool. Really,
that's cool.
And that existed back in their time.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah. That's pretty incredible. Huh. Yeah.
There's not a lot of regulation on air rifles.
Mike Knapp's in the chat. That's Kosher Pork Rinds. He's like, I did activate Gettysburg on that trip. Yeah, I thought there was a group of y'all who went that way, and Frank and I drove north from there up towards Long Island, and we stopped off and met up with Bo KH7FC, and he took us out to a forfeit park, which was just a grassland, a national park, and 2 POTA parks. That's just kind of all. I mean, 4 POTA spots that overlapped. So we got a forfeit. That was fun. But it wasn't anything.
Even the park was fun.
Yeah. Getting the truck stuck in the mud. That was fun.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
But yeah, I'm all about doing the historical stuff. We need to go do the San Jacinto Monument is down towards Port of Houston, and Texas Battleship and that kind of thing. There's another battleship that's down on outside of Corpus Christi, I think. So I'm really kind of all about doing that kind of stuff. I just think those are cool to have in your logbook, really.
Here's a question. I'm gonna from a $2 super chat. How do you recommend doing a POTA in a city or urban? Same way I would do it at a park that has a bunch of trees.
Yeah, I hope they have a tree. Otherwise, get yourself a freestand. Get yourself a Wolf River, or hell, get the Pactena. If you can find one and buy it, get a Pactena. Just put it on a stick and lean it up against something. I used a pole and just used I went to Walmart. I threw the little package away. Gear snake, guys. I don't know if you have this. You go to Walmart. It's in a little flat pack thing. It is 16 feet of orange coated rubber wire, and you just it's just a huge twist tie, and you cut it to size, and you take like a 1 foot or like 2 feet long twist tie, throw that on your backpack, and then if you have a telescopic mast, just lash that to whatever the hell you can with the rubber gear snake. You just tie it up and that's it. You don't have to have anything complicated. Just boom, 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 you're done. Like, that's all I do.
You know what? Even easier than that, get a mag mount and a ham stick.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
sure.
You know, when I went to Montesano, I stopped in Montesano on the way back from Long Island on my 2-week-long April road trip. And I stopped in Montesano, and I got there early in the morning. It was like, I don't know, 7 a.m. or something. I was like, okay, I'm going to stop by and talk to the guys at Gigaparts, but they don't open until 10. So I went to Montesano. I paid my $5 day pass to get in, and I drove around to the top, and I sat there on the outlook that there's a side of the mountain that overlooks basically all of Alabama. And I had a 40-meter ham stick on top of the truck, and I took my IC7300 out of my box in the back, set it on the seat with a Bioenno battery, and I made 95 contacts in about an hour, about 90 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, just boom, 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 right? And it was all just on a vertical ham stick on top of the truck.
I recommend taking the ham sticks with you. It doesn't even have to be an urban. Have that as a fallback. If you're going to activate in a national park, especially a historical or it's a huge nature preserve, have that as a fallback. Ask the park rangers, can you set up in a tree? Because some parks won't allow you and they will fine you. If they see you, they will write you a ticket. And so you ask, and if they say no, say thank you very much. I will just sit in my car and I don't have to set anything up. I'll just be in the parking lot. Be a good ham steward, because if they say, okay, great, just be careful, good. The last thing we want is unneeded attention of us throwing up a bunch of antennas in the trees. You got the weight bag. You got to throw the antenna. Sometimes it brings limbs down. We don't want to cause damage to these national parks.
No.
So having a fallback of the ham stick just on your car, and it's legal in POTA. They allow it in POTA.
That's what Don does. N5SKT. That's his jam, is running ham sticks.
Nothing wrong.
Although I do always encourage people. By the way, this is a personal choice to do this, but when you go set up at a park, like you go to a park bench, actually set up an antenna and do that, you're inevitably going to get people that come up and talk to you. So like, look at what Jason and I are doing and Frank is doing. We're trying to encourage people to get engaged with the hobby, and you going and personally playing radio and using radio, you're going to get people that come up and talk to you. So you get to be like us in that time and explain what radio is and why it's important to you personally, and try and make it something that people, you may not sell them on getting their license, but you're at least changing the narrative from what it used to exist at is, that's what my grandfather did in the basement with big, huge boxes that heated the whole house up, to we're in a park now and we got a box that's, super tiny and we're talking across the country, right? Like that's all you can convey to people in what ham radio is today, then you're winning. And that's
absolutely,
I give you high points for that. So get out there and literally, although I understand what Frank's saying, but hell, I would definitely try and use a tree if I can.
I agree. The tree is the best thing. The best thing. But if you're not allowed a tree, just sit in your car, activate it, and then go enjoy the park, because that's what we're here for. You're in a park. Go enjoy nature.
Right.
But that's the point, is like, get out there and get active, get radioactive, right? That was the term people were using.
Yeah.
Is just get out there and have fun with it, and be willing to talk to people. So that's the thing. I know we get really excited to make like high QSO counts. And you've seen my videos where I think half of the time that I'm actually on the radio, people are coming up and talking to me.
Yeah.
Because I set up in places where people are going to show up. And
yeah,
that's good. That's really good. And you're still going to activate. I promise. You'll still get your 10 contacts, only 10.
Oh yeah.
So still take some of that time to explain to people what ham radio is. I think it's really valuable.
The most attention I ever got when I was setting up in a park was not setting up POTA and antennas and things. It was when I was trying to get the satellites, because I would go to a park with a wide area because I want to see horizon. And some of these parks have a huge meadow area that is just, you can see from tree line to tree line. So I go there, set up in the middle of it, and that was the most walk-ups I got of say, hey, what's going on? And at that point, I'm like, give me 5 minutes and I will happily answer any question, because that satellite is literally right there.
Right.
But after that, man, I'm just like, I will spend like 20, 30 minutes talking to some of these people, just saying, hey, this is amateur radio. This is what I'm doing. The most walk-ups I got was when I activated Founders Plaza. This is a park, not activated. I set up in a little park that is on the north end of DFW's landing strip. So I set up my Yankee antenna and I was moving across the sky, and a lot of people were seeing, what are you doing right there close to this airport?
Close to the airport, yeah. In fact, I think that's on airport property, technically.
It is on airport property, but that was one of the places I used to frequent a lot too. But I stopped going there is because I got a lot of walk-ups, and I don't mind them, but when I'm in the moment trying to use the satellite and activating it, just give me 1 second. Second.
So Patriac Emery, and he's the guy who asked the question about the urban activation. He says another $5 super chat. Hopefully I'm saying your name right, man. Sorry about that. He says, thanks for the info. I live by DC and some parks are just concrete. So yeah. So if you've watched any of my POTA videos, I have used that drive over mount several times. And I had some of those that there's a guy in Texas who makes those in his shop. And he has a metalworking shop on his home property, and he makes those for people. And he used to make them and sell them, and I bought some from him one time and took them to a ham fest, and people were all like, oh my God. So it sold out of a bunch of them. So I put them in some videos for him to get him some more business. But, I just take that thing and drive over it with my truck and put a telescoping mask, a carbon fiber, fiberglass, whatever mast in there. And then you put your antenna on the mast. You can tie a wire to it, or you can use like the TN07 flagpole, which is an antenna inside of the fiberglass pole, and then just hook it to the radio and operate from your tailgate. And you've got a 32-foot antenna in the air that's mounted to your truck or to your vehicle non-permanently. And you're not tied to anything. You're not staking anything into the ground. You're not tied to a tree. So you can do that.
That is a great option.
Just tune up the Washington Monument either way.
Yeah, you can do that too. Yeah, I'm sure that's legal.
That's an option.
Just go up to the top, strap a pole to it, make it 10 feet higher.
The top's aluminum. The top's aluminum.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know if you know that.
Okay, so Izzo's leaving. Going to spend some time with the wife. Great topics. Good nights. Thanks for joining us, Dawn.
Yes.
And I misspoke earlier when I said Mike Knapp. That was N8YO, not Kosher Pork Rinds, because he was logged into a different account, and I'm like, that doesn't look right. But Kosher was pinging me in Discord about 2 minutes before I went live, so he was fresh in my mind. So when I saw that Mike, there's too many people named Mike out there, right? So I saw him. I was like,
how about the Dawn Army, man? There's a lot of Dawns out there.
So good. Well, hey guys, we've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes. This is exactly what I wanted to do tonight. Just open discussion, talk about whatever. It's good to interact with the audience on stuff. Fun. Just having fun with ham radio. That's what it's all about. And it's amazing so many times I do this with numerous guests, and the topic somehow always gets steered towards POTA. I don't have a problem with that.
That's what everybody's doing right now. I mean, I think, that's kind of the pulse of where a lot of people are going right now, which is good. Like that should be encouraged, is how important that is right now. And yeah, I mean, keep it going, because honestly, like every time you do POTA and somebody comes and talks to you, you're changing the world view of ham radio.
And be good amateur radio stewards. Take the time and to explain what's going on. And yes, Josh.
Well, I was going to say, Jason, if you still have Ham Tactical up, there are T-shirts that on the back explain what you're doing when you're out doing POTA. So
really?
No.
Yeah, we made a couple of shirts. So you go back to the primary main page and scroll down. Oh no, where did she put them? Oh. So there, if you go to new shirts, or if you go to scroll up to all products, is there a new?
No, there's HRC Technician General Extra Appliance Operator, FT8, Ham Radio Adventures, Fang Gang, QSO, and XYL.
Well, I promise you, if you go there, there is a shirt for when you go out and activate. That it talks about what we're doing when we're out there, because go to HRCC collection. No, that's not it. Damn it. Hold on. This is definitely what we want to be doing. Go to clothing under Ham Tactical and scroll down.
Clothing?
I'll find it and I'll send you the link in the chat.
Yeah. It'd be good to have something like that.
And I'll so that was kind of the idea of it, is that we were explaining to people like, hey, what is, okay, here we go. Let's see. Is that one?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But,
yeah, all right. So I'm copying and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
So the idea of this is like just answering questions like, what am I doing? And then it's like ham radio. It's off-grid communications, making worldwide contacts, talking over satellites, practicing emergency comms, digital messaging, and or radio direction finding or contests. So that was the idea of this shirt. Leia came up with this to kind of like help out people that maybe don't want to have to go through the whole bellwether. Here's a snapshot, and there's two versions of it. I just sent Jason one of them. There's two versions of it, but that kind of gives everybody an idea of what's going on in case you don't want to be the guy that has to answer everybody's questions.
That's good.
Thank you. Anime is in the chat, says grab G90 and go in a woods. That's another good shirt. That's another one of my favorites.
Yeah, I always liked that one. That one was pretty good.
No, I got to buy that one because
you got a G90 now.
Hey,
see how that worked out?
Do you own an SKS? Because that's where that all came from. Grab SKS and go in a woods.
Yeah,
that's the joke.
I do not have an SKS, but
good gun. If you got some spam cans of AK-47 rounds sitting around.
Right. Yeah, true.
Oh, now.
All right, before we get into the gun talk, because we'll be here for another hour.
We'll literally. Yeah.
So I am going to be guest star. I almost said guest starring, but that's not actually true. I'll be guest speaking on a podcast called "Who Moved My Freedom" this week, and talking about ham radio. I met Hank Strange. I met him at the Overlanding Expo in last October in Virginia, and he and I kind of started talking about, because we were set up there with Gigaparts, so he started asking me about ham radio, and the guys from Gigaparts were like, "Talk to this guy. He's a YouTuber." Okay. And then we figured out who Hank was, and I didn't know. I'd never watched his channel before, but if you go watch Hank Strange on YouTube, he's got about 120,000 subs, and he does a gun channel, but he does this audio podcast called "Who Moved My Freedom," and he's like, "Yeah, people are always asking me about radio. Why don't you come on and talk about it?" So we're recording that on Tuesday. I don't know when it'll air yet, but I'll keep everybody updated on that. But that's what I really kind of like to do, is kind of like a ham radio ambassador. A lot what Josh was saying about doing POTA and answering people's questions when you're set up in a park and whatnot. So that's kind of how I'm going to be ambassadoring ham radio this week myself. So that's I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. So
good.
It's all good.
I mean, that's what we want. Everybody going out there again. I want to remind everybody, when I made that video, ham radio needs more content creators. I still want to point out what that really meant. And I love everybody on YouTube. That's great. Everybody's making great content.
Yay.
This is about you and your personal Facebook page, or you and your Instagram page, talking about what you're doing to the people that are your local friends. explain, like show them what you're doing. Show the people that are your people, the people that you're already friends with, what you're doing. And you will undoubtedly get people that are interested in ham radio. And those are the people that are going to ask you questions, and you try and help them out, and they're local. So you can go one-on-one and get them going. And that's exactly what we want. We need more of that ham radio stewardship that I've talked about. So
absolutely
appreciate that.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a good, good. Yeah. I kind of took that and run with it and did some interviews with some smaller YouTube channels, but I think it expands beyond that though. So I agree with what you're saying completely.
I like the local. I like the local. Just get the people exposed at your local level, the people you're friends with. At your local your Facebook page. Just post it on your Facebook page. Post a picture of your radio station. People will ask you, because everybody's waking up to the concept of why it's important and why they should consider it. And you could be that spark point that gets them fully engaged and fully ham. So
and on that note, how I got into amateur radio, I was always interested, but I didn't know who to ask. And then some conversation Jason and I had, and he's like, "Oh, I'm an amateur radio operator." Oh,
I'm literally that guy.
How do you get?
I'm literally that guy.
Literally that guy. Yeah, we were working together. That was at a HERF, wasn't it, Frank?
Yeah.
No, that was even before I joined. That was while we were at Blackberry.
Okay.
You introduced me to the Hearst Club, and then the Hearst had the classes of the tech classes, and I took the tech class and got my license.
Yeah.
But you know, there is always a person out there and someone in your friend circle kind of interested, but doesn't know that you have that hobby. And that's a great way. And well, I think us, it's very known in our friend circles. We are amateur radio operators, but everyone else it's just like the hobby they have that they don't talk about a lot. And the second point is, what's Facebook?
It's this tool.
I'm telling you, that's where more people are than anything.
It's this tool that you should learn to use to promote your YouTube channel. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, Josh, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
This is always fun. We'll do this again soon. I like to kind of follow up with other guys in the platform.
I got to get you that ghost pepper beer, and we'll do it. Yes. We'll do it live when I get that to you. I'll have you drink it live.
Oh, send two.
I literally have 3 left. So there's 3 of us in this room. So I can send one to Frank. I'll send one to Jason. I'll drink one with you.
Just send them both. Just send them both to me. Just send a package to me, and I'll get it to Frank. But let's do that for my 100K live stream.
Oh, fun. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'll
get the shipping department.
Yeah. My nephew, who got his ham radio license about a month ago, my nephew Bristow, his call sign is KI5SMG. I got his call sign. I'm going to get him set up with a radio soon. I'm going to have him come on. He's 14, so I don't have to deal with Copa. He's going to come onto the show and do some stuff. He wants to do that one hot chip challenge.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that a couple of times.
He's like, when you break 100K, we need to do that. I was like, okay, Bristow, we'll do that. So
what is that? I haven't heard of this.
It's a Carolina Reaper one chip. Like it's a Carolina Reaper saturated Dorito chip.
Yeah.
I'll be on the stream. I will do that with you, Jason.
Okay. It's spicy. It's really spicy.
What do you mean? Okay, Jason, come on. You know me and spicy food. It can't be.
No. Yeah. Oh, are you talking to me or Josh?
No. When you do the one chip challenge, I will do that. With you.
Okay. We can do that. All right.
Because the hotter the better in my book.
All right. Well, thank you to both for joining. Hang out in the Zoom for a minute. I'm going to close this out and be right back with you guys. So 73.
I'm just going to run to the restroom. So everybody have a good
evening. All right. Cool, man. All right. So good deal.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to go over here and I'm going to show you guys my Patreon members. And these are all the people who support me on Patreon and make this channel possible. So special thanks to the patrons out there. If you go to patreon.com/hamradio, you can see there's 3 different tiers to go out there and support me. All tiers of Patreon get early access to most of my videos. I've kind of fallen behind with some of that lately with traveling and all of these Black Friday videos I put up last week. I recorded that morning and posted them that afternoon, so I wasn't posting those early. But my video for tomorrow I put up yesterday, so it went up to early to patrons and the channel members, and I'm going to get back on track with that. And I've been trying to do monthly meetings with the patrons, and I've been about every other month on that. I'm going to try to put together a schedule starting in January. Actually, I'm going to start in December and do a every month schedule. I'm going to do it like a year out. That way it's on my calendar and I know when it is, and I won't kind of get sidetracked with that. But special thanks to all the patrons out there who support the channel. Without you guys, this channel would not be quite as far along as it is now. Also, go sign up for my 100,000 giveaway option, which let me pull that up real quick because I have to get, I should have had that ready, but I didn't. Right there. So if you get this page right here, no, not that. Bear with me real quick here. I know, I can put it in there. That's fine. They can't hear you right now anyway. But so yeah, so when the channel breaks 100,000 subs, which hopefully if you guys have been watching me, you know this already. But when the channel breaks 100,000 subs, we're going to be giving away a Flex Radio 6400M. All you got to do is go sign up with your email address at that site right here. And I'm dropping that link in the chat right now. All you got to do is give your email address to be put into the pool. And then once the channel breaks 100,000 subs, I'm going to get with Flex Radio. I'm going to say, okay, let's get this nailed down. I'm going to give it away on a live stream, real-time giveaway. I'm probably going to have a few more things to give away also, for a few smaller things. This is definitely going to be the grand prize. Hopefully have, you know, half a dozen or so things to give away then. And but that's going to be just a big celebration time. So probably about this time next month, maybe a little bit before Christmas, that should happen if the channel continues to grow at the rate it has been. Don't really know exactly when that's going to happen. It's going to be a big surprise. We might do that as our first live stream of 2022. Even if the channel breaks, you know, I want to kind of announce it, get it in people's heads, send out emails, make sure everybody's watching, that kind of thing, and then try to do it a few weeks later. So we might do that live stream for the giveaway after the first of the year. But the channel should break 100,000 sometime middle to late December, something like that. So very special thanks to everybody for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, please go subscribe because that's what I'm trying to break right now. And that'll be great. So, but good luck to all of you for that. And I hope somebody I hope somebody who's recently got a ticket or got a general upgrade wins that radio. But whoever wins it, I will say congrats to. So 73 to all. But thanks for watching tonight, guys. Definitely go check out Josh's channel. I'm sure most of you have probably already subscribed over there. He's got a great channel. He live streams every Saturday at the same time I do on Sunday. So it's 7 p.m. my time. He's on Saturday, I'm on Sunday, and it's 5 p.m. California time. He's on Saturday, I'm on Sunday. So he does a really great job with live streaming, and go check out his channel on YouTube and catch Ham Nation every other Wednesday. So 73, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you tomorrow night on Monday Night Ham Radio.